Been wanting to make a video of my kayak lately. When I was in the market to buy one, I had a tough time making a choice. I ended up purchasing two other kayaks before this one that I wasn't happy with, and got them both from Dick's and had kind of a rough time taking them back, getting my money. Both those kayaks were the Vapor 10, which I did not like at all, and the Perception Rhythm, which was a little bit better, but it didn't have a skeg, and I didn't want a big boat. I have a Toyota pickup, so I couldn't go really much longer than 11 foot, so I was looking for something 10 foot, 10 and a half, which is what this is, but I really wanted a skeg. My brother has one, and he has a skeg on his, and I seen how well that boat performs, and in my opinion, any boat under 10 foot, any boat under 11 foot, I think, should have a skeg, just because they're so short. So I took a shot with this one. It was a little bit more. I think I paid $750 for this. I think I got it from LL Bean, and I couldn't be more pleased. This is a really good boat, and my primary purpose using it is to fish, so I got it set up for that reason. But I figured I'd just throw this up on YouTube, so if anybody else was thinking about it, or they were looking for a good one, and they were looking at sit-in sides versus sit-in tops, I prefer to sit-in sides, that I'd throw this up there. So I'll start from the back. The hatch, it's pretty watertight. I've never had anything leak in there. It's fairly big. I mean, it's not a monster, but it fits all that junk. Not the crate, but it fits all the other stuff. And you can reach this when you're sitting. The boat's stable enough, you can reach around there, and your arm can reach all the way to the very back. It goes up under there a little bit, almost all the way to the point, without feeling tippy or feeling like you're going to flip over or anything. It's a little bit hard to open sometimes. The locks are a little tight. I don't know if they'll break in with use. I've had it for a year now, but it's definitely secure. I mean, if this thing would flip, this lid ain't going to open. I'll show you the skeg. The skeg's on this side, and it's activated by this little rope, and it's just a pinch point. So you unpinch it and let it go, and it drops it, and that's it right there. And the nice thing about this setup is you can vary if you want it just a little bit. If you want to have it all the way up, all the way down, somewhere in between. If you're in a stream, you want a little bit more maneuverability, you can do that. I like that. It's plastic. I wish it was aluminum, but it is what it is. As far as maneuverability, this thing, when you put the skeg up, it spins right around, almost within its own length. It's pretty nice. Of everything I've tried and had, this is the best. And with the skeg down, she glides straight, as straight as an arrow. I mean, the Vapor 10 I had, that was the worst complaint I had with that, is you want to hit a bass, you want to hit some pads or something, and you'd stop paddling and try and glide up, and as soon as you stop paddling, she'd hook right or left, and you couldn't get to where you wanted to go. This, you can glide right up, be real quiet, and it's nice. Let's see what else. The seat is great. This thing, I use it all the way back, but it does fold down. It's got little straps on here for if you're, transporting it in the truck, the wind won't catch it and flip it up. I use just a regular weightlifting weight for an anchor, and it works fine. None of the places where I'm at is like really fast moving water, and I only usually need a couple foot of line, but I have more in that bag if I go deep, and I can rig it up to have it whatever depth I need. I also have because if you're in the stream fishing, sometimes your boat will get spun around in a funny way, and they make anchor trolleys, I know, but really all you need is 4 points on a boat to rig your line. So you throw the anchor over whatever side you want, and say you want to hook it at the front for the way the current's drifting. I got a little hook here, and it doesn't have to be anything complicated, and you can reach all the way up there while you're sitting. So any spot, any cleat or whatever you could put on a boat, you really don't need an anchor trolley, in my opinion. It's just something else that makes noise, and I try and keep it as quiet as possible. Another reason I bought these paddle attachments, paddle holders, but they're so loud when you clip in. It's like all the fish have to just scatter when those things snap. So I kept them, but I just put a bungee on top, and it's just real quiet. You just lay the paddle on there and put the bungee on it, and you don't have that big snap in and out. Besides that, it's hard as heck to get those things in and out. I imagine they would break into, but I think it's better this way. I know some kayaks, they'll sell little elastic cords in certain spots to help you hook up. Before I had that, I used to just put the paddle under the front straps, but that makes a little bit of noise too. This is working out much better. I don't like a lot of crap. Well, I do like a lot of crap, but I don't like a lot of crap in my way. And the rod holder I'm still working with. I had another one in here. It's got a mount, but the thing is huge, and I'm not really sure I like it. It doesn't really work that well for me. This was a piece of rubber that I got at Home Depot and just kind of screwed it on there. And when I'm traveling, under bridges and stuff, keeps your rod nice and low. It's perfect for that. Really, the only time I use a rod holder upright is, when I got a fish in, I want to put the rod down and get the fish off. So I'm going to try this out. This was Walmart cheap, But if it doesn't like it, I'll take it out. Let's see. Oh, the seat. Let's finish off the seat. There's this thing pulls up underneath your thigh, so you can raise this thing up. And I mean, if you really want to kick back and put your feet up on the bow of the boat, you raise that up, and you got plenty of support. So to get it back down, you just push these two. It goes back down. You also have a strap to move the backrest. You can move it up if you're shorter. I don't really mess with that too much. They give you a nice little pouch here. Put pliers in it, or whatever, some scent. I got an air bobber. As far as room, it's nice. It's fairly roomy. It's not as good as the Vapor. The Vapor had the most room out of any boat that I've been in, but the cockpit's huge. I'm 6 foot. My feet, I got plenty of room. Sometimes kayaks bug me with the height of your feet, and I should have brought a flashlight. But anyway, I stick a 2x4 under there and wedge it in there, and kind of pushes up the bow a little bit. I got 10.5, 11 size shoe. Sometimes, like, you put a pair of boots on, you can't straighten your feet up. I hate that. So that's a little trick I've done. The boat came with foam in the front up in there, and I took that out. It doesn't really need it. So I got rid of that. I got a ram mount. I don't dedicate that for anything. I just kind of put it in there to see, might get something later for it, a bait tray or something. I run a little GPS on it just for mostly novelty. Tells me how fast I'm paddling, how far I went. It's an old one, really cheap, but it's kind of neat to come back and see how far you paddled or what your max speed was or anything. And as far as that goes, I've had this boat up to 4.3 miles an hour, but that's really about as fast as I can paddle it. And at that point, she's not cutting the water anymore. She's pushing it, and it's really tiring, and it's kind of a waste of effort. If you slow her down to about 2.5 or 2.8, you can do that for a very long time. It'll cruise that nice. It's not the fastest, but it's by no means the slowest. So, I mean, I'm not in a rush to get most places anywhere. I'm a slow fishing kind of guy. I like to camp out in a spot, get real quiet, and have the wildlife and the fish, forget that I'm even there. So it's not a deal breaker for me. I've done a couple things that I've been fishing in it for a year now. I'm always fishing with my son. I got him this year. It's a sport. I picked it up at Sports Authority. It's the Perception Sport Conduit, I think it was. They're going out of business, so you might be able to get some stuff from them real cheap. But he's 12, 13, so sometimes he needs some help tying stuff off. And I found a neat little trick. I took one of these, oh no, I can't get it off. One of these little hooks. And I put a piece of elastic on it. And I've got anchor points. Of course, this is never going to work. Where I can put this on like the ram ball or something and hook it to his boat so our two boats stay connected while we're tying, untying. It saves you from having to constantly hold on, because if you're in a stream and the current's kicking pretty good, you can it's a pain in the butt to keep reaching over and pulling yourself back together. So I lash ourselves together when we got to do work, and that's working out pretty good, because you can go get these cleats at Walmart for real cheap. Just make sure you get stainless steel screws to put them in with, otherwise they're going to rust. You'll never get them out if you want to. But yeah, it's a good boat. I am definitely pleased with it. I have learned too, when you put it back in your truck, put it in bow first. If you have a kayak that has a skeg, don't get in the habit of putting the tail end in. I know it's heavier in the tail, but there's always that time you forget to put the skeg up, and then you go to lift it on the tailgate. You think it's up, and you bash it really hard. And being plastic, I hit it once real good, and I thought I broke it. So that's it. It's always going in bow first from now on. Can you stand in this? I have, but it ain't really made for that, and I definitely wouldn't fish standing in it. It's got enough room where the seat and the sidewalls, they don't interfere too bad with your elbows when you're casting, and it's not bad at all. I know it would probably be a sit on top is ideal for that, because there's nothing there on your sides to inhibit your movements. But like I said, I'm a fan of the sit insides. I think they're a little bit quicker, a little bit more protected. I'd rather have a sit inside. So that's about all I can think of. I did put a flashlight on the front. We always seem to end up out way after dark. It's nice to kick that on, find your way back to the ramp or what have you. As far as weight, it's kind of heavy. It's a little bit heavier. It's not as heavy as a sit on top, but it's nowhere near as light as my son's, and his is, I think, the same exact length, I believe. But another thing I've learned too is if you're going by yourself, you just have to get one of these crates and put all your gear in it, and then just put the empty boat in, and then when you get to the place you're fishing, reload the boat up with all your gear. I generally run these right next to my seat. They seem to fit pretty good right on the sides there. Keep them handy. The worms is a bigger box. I'll throw that in the back. It fits in the back. Haven't really had to use a sponge yet. I don't get too much water in the boat. Usually just take a rag with me, clean it up. If I get a fish in there, it's gets a little gunky in there. That usually is about all I need for the whole day. So I think that's about it. All in all, good boat if you're thinking about one. A sit inside. I definitely recommend this one. Very pleased with it.